Okay, you know the drill. Let's run it back. Only three things you're allowed to have open is your logs, your profile, and your memories. Although so far no one's really used the logs because the logs are a more detailed recount of what's happening. So you might want to edit it later. Regardless, you can have it open or not. I don't really care. Most people just use it as a reference to like reference back to who their character is, but your character kind of sucks. But regardless, yeah, everything that happens to you, if you forget it in real life, you forget it canonically. So make sure to write anything you think is important down. I'll be going through and erasing some shit later. Maybe we'll see. Magic is something you also have to write down. Although the only thing you know inherently is your skills. You always know what your skills you use kind of intrinsically, as well as the type of magic you can use. Although you can't actually use any magic currently. I need to write. You have a race skill as a fallen angel, but it's not gonna matter because unholy rebellion only applies to angelic magic, and if you manage to fight angels on the first day, I think you're probably gonna die. Just my thoughts. Yeah. Don't open anything, not even maps. Nothing is allowed unless I tell you to open a different document. Don't open a different document.
Okay,
Uh,
so just profile memories.
Profile memories and logs if you want to have logs open. I don't know if you want to though.
I am too poor for a hotel, for the record. That is my defense. Hello, babe. No, you did not pay for it.
Did you just say hi to yourself? God, you're lonely.
I'll do it again. Can I?
I
Oh, there
am
we
too
go.
poor for a hotel. Uh, okay, anyways, that about covers everything. Don't open any documents. Elphys almost did that, and I had to beat his ass for it. Yeah, write anything down however you feel like. If you need me to repeat anything, ask. There will be a few things I'm not repeating, but for the most part, especially in the early times, there shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, yeah. What is happening? That's your defense. It's so hey, Burp Blurp laugh. I was gonna tell her to laugh at you, Jamal, because you know why. Just gonna shit on Jamal casually, real quick. Maybe you got 5 minutes of footage that's just us shitting on Jamal in the group chat instead of actual lore,
Is that
because
canon?
this canon. It's canon that we all just shit on you canonically. Also, Dread canonically is really hot and edgy, so I mean, technically Jamal, character
No, my
speaking.
character is not into edgy things.
Yes, it
He's just
is.
like
Have you read the
except of
lore? Have
himself.
you read the fucking lore? Okay, anyways, yeah, fine. We'll start because Jamal is a bitch. Okay, Dread,
Yes, hold on, check it out.
shut up. Alright, I'm gonna be working on a map while we do this. So, the half the footage is gonna be me making the map of Zirconia. It's gonna be half the lore. It's just that. Okay, so falling out of the sky. Yes, you're semi-conscious. You don't really know what's going on, but you kind of try to trace things back. You remember the screams. You remember the crying, the panicking. You remember the gunshots. You try your best to think back, but it's still all blurry. The last thing you remember is getting shot, dying apparently, meeting this god. You don't know who he was. He refused to elaborate. Regardless, you remember he told you that you would be reincarnated into a world of magic and swords and medieval witchcraft and shit. He let you pick out your race and your magic and sent you on your way. Next thing you know, you're falling out of the sky, semi-conscious. After a few moments, you slam straight into the ground. You don't feel any pain. You assume that this god broke your fall. Regardless, you get up and take a look around. You're still kind of groggy from it all. I mean, you've never fallen out of the sky before. You look around and it's all desert, as far as the eye can see. Except for a few mountains to your far left that kind of impose over the whole land. But other than that, everything is sand. You look below you and kind of see you're in this little divot, kind of a crater. You imagine you caused this as you crashed. You stand up, and besides cactus, there's nothing there. You try to get a better look by leaving the crater, but nothing's there. What do you do?
Look around, see if anyone is around. Start walking if I don't see anything really quickly.
You look around and see nothing. No one, nothing. You figure nothing's gonna happen if you just kind of stand here. So you get to move on. You start to walk just in what direction do you want to walk in? You can either walk towards the mountains, away from the mountains, walk with the mountains to your left, or walk with the mountains to your right, because you don't really have a sense of direction.
If the mountains aren't that tall, I'll probably use them to get vantage.
The mountains are incredibly far away and massive.
Okay. Well, at that case, I'll probably walk against the mountains.
With them to your left or to your right?
I mean, like away from them, sorry.
You begin to start walking away from the mountains. You kind of just trudging along. Again, not much for you to see besides cactus. You just kind of keep walking. You can change direction at any time if you feel like you're wasting time.
No, I'll continue.
Okay. You continue walking down this path. Kind of like no idea where you're going, but you're going somewhere. You kind of walk, and quickly you start to feel thirsty. Yeah, no shit, you're in a desert, you think to yourself. You look around, and again, only cactus. You can either just ignore the thirst and hope you find something soon, or attempt to do something about it.
I would grab part of the cactus and just try to cut it apart, especially as this new form I'm given is much more resilient than a human, which would make the breaking of the cactus much easier.
You walk up to a cactus and you kind of look at it, and you know that the cactus has water in it, and you kind of try to pry it open or like cut it. You accidentally grab the spines, and it hurts, but not as much as you thought it would. Regardless, you continue to attempt to pry it open, and eventually you manage to cut off a leaf and a few other things, eventually getting it open after many pain. Inside is some water, but not much.
I take a sip of it, and then I try changing directions as there isn't anything in that path I've seen so far.
You take a sip of the water. It tastes like water with some floral notes to it. You don't pay it much attention and decide to continue walking. You decide to walk in a different direction. Your back is to the mountains. You can either go left, continue forward, or go right.
Left.
Okay. Deciding that there really isn't much in this path for you to really care about, you decide to start moving left, and hopes that you actually find something. You turn and begin moving left. Still hot, but knowing that at the very least you can get water from the cacti, you feel more confident that at the very least you'll sustain yourself for a bit.
Am I able to pull the pricks out of my hands?
You can.
I guess I could use like the skill I have, like Silver Skies, to try to like turn my body into like metal in order to like easily take out the needles that would no longer be like so painful to take out because they would come out more easily if it was more extreme. I don't
Yeah. You think about a way to get the spines out of your hands, and you think to your skills and remember your skill from Dark Awakening, Silver Skies, and activate it, turning your hands into metal. It just lodges the things deeper into your hands.
know.
You cancel the
Uh,
skill, and the spines are still in your hands.
I use dark fog to try to separate my hand so the needles can fall together and reform it quickly.
You activate Dark Fog and attempt to become mist, and the pines fall out of your hands. A lot of
I
effort you put
continue
into
on my
that.
journey.
You put way too much effort into that, you think to yourself. You continue down the path, still kind of hoping to find something, really anything. However, you're really just, unless you're really coming up empty-handed. You figure the only thing you really can do is just continue, so you do. A bit more walking later, and you still nothing. It's kind of desert. You look at the sun. You remember when you arrived, the sun was maybe about to approach its zenith. Now it's ticking a bit over. You assume that if you've probably been walking for maybe an hour or two, taking sips of water from nearby cacti whenever you needed to. As you continue to walk, you you start to hear noises from beneath you. You're not sure what they are, but you can kind of hear rumbling in the sands. You know that this is a fantasy world, and therefore, naturally, there are going to be creatures in this world that you are not used to. You kind of see the sand ahead of you rustling, not in a weird way, almost like it's like a waves in the sand, like how you kind of like ocean waves, only sand. You're a bit confused, and you can either approach the rustling, attempt to go around it, or turn into a completely different direction.
I'm gonna attempt to go around it.
You see that it's kind of just standing in place, and as you approach it, the rustling starts to stop. Maybe whatever's under there dove deeper into the sand. Regardless, you're not gonna walk directly atop of it. You think that's like the dumbest decision you could make. You walk around the sand, and eventually you think you've made it far enough to where you won't get attacked by whatever's underneath there. You continue to walk past you. At this point, you've walked maybe 10-20 meters past where the rustling was happening, when suddenly it appears again in front of you. This time, coming straight at you. You've maybe, based on its speed, you quickly estimate you have about 5 seconds to react before whatever is there will be directly underneath you, and I don't think you want to wait for that.
I use dark fog to move out of the way really quickly.
You activate your skill Dark Fog, you become very short, and dash to the left. The what appears to be sand, a lump of sand essentially charging straight at you, goes underneath you and goes behind you. And then quickly turns around without even making much of a turn, and immediately starts heading in your direction again. You know you can't just keep dodging it forever, but I mean you can try if you want.
Um, I use Visage to create an
Visage?
oh yeah, Visage to make bigger version of myself and use Silver Skies to brace for the impact.
You activate Visage to create a different form of yourself. Wait, hold on. Let's use to hide a form in an image only others can see. It cannot hurt them. Yeah. You make yourself look bigger using this Visage and wait for this thing to crash into you. It doesn't crash into you. Just before it approaches you, instead, a massive, what appears to be, worm, or actually not a worm, snake, lunges at you with its jaws open, really wide, maybe a meter and a half open, easily enough to swallow you whole. Doesn't seem to care about your size. It is maybe a meter away from you. You have about 0.5 seconds to react before it clamps right down on your body.
I I just use telekinesis to try to move it away.
You activate telekinesis
If
in an attempt to move this thing away, and you kind of feel it activate, but this thing is fucking heavy. You can even feel it through the telekinesis. You manage to push it to the side slightly, and its teeth graze your clothes. It had fangs, maybe 3 feet long, and a jaw easily 3 times as big as that. If it had gotten you, you might have died. Regardless, it burrows quickly back deep into the ground. You get a quick glance at its full length. It's maybe 5 meters long and very wide. It burrows in the
Mhm.
sand and is coming at you again from underneath the sand again.
uh I use I use sorry. Yeah, sorry. I use I guess like observant, and since I've already seen, or I guess like adapter, like increased ability to avoid repeated attacks or similar skills. Realizing that it has a pattern of rushing me and leaping at me, I tried to like I tried to like I guess like memorize its position and its like attack pattern to try to like avoid it in another scenario. I guess in this case, not using telekinesis again, and perhaps using I guess like this time like eclipse to try to like blind it or like
Yeah.
mess with its perception of me.
You rapidly go through all your skills in a feeble attempt to think of something just to get out of this way, and you attempt to you use observant in an attempt to attempt to read the beast's moves. It's not very clearly have an attack pattern. It is just charging at you. So this time you're able to dodge to the left out of the way as the beast's face charges straight at you. Once it's landed in front of you, it attempts to burrow back into the ground. You use
Eclipse.
Eclipse to blind the creature, essentially. And you also feel the speed and strength. You feel the speed and strength of this serpent thing flowing into you. The beast attempts to burrow back into the ground, but is struggling because it can't see.
Um, I use my I as a fallen angel. I use my wings to try to approach and strike it with silver skies, like using my like fingers or the wings on my back to like scratch it up.
You activate Silver Skies and turn your wings in the middle and attempt to claw. The beast does absolutely nothing. Its hide is way too thick, and your wings aren't, sharp enough because they're wings. Um, eventually Eclipse wears
Mhm.
off and it dives back into the sand. It's coming at you
Mhm.
again.
I use I guess this time I just use visage to hide my
What is a
existence from it,
visage? Where do you
or
get
visage.
where do you get that
I,
pronunciation from?
I don't know. I use visage to hide my existence from the beast, hopefully making it leave me alone.
You activate Visage again. I'm fucking mocking you. In an attempt to hide from the beast. It activates and you kind of try to sneak away. The beast chomps at the visage and but it turns into smoke as the effect is worn off because of the attack. And the beast goes away. You try to sneak away, but I don't know if you've ever tried to sneak away in a barren wasteland of sand. Doesn't work all that well.
Mm-hmm.
It fails, and he's now coming at you again.
Um, I use curiosity in order to learn more about the physical capabilities of this creature, as I've been fighting them for a while, it seems.
Long you kind of activate curiosity passively, and you try to learn something about the beast. Uh, you kind of like feel it doesn't it's not what you thought it would be, like a voice. Instead, it kind of feels like instinct to you, and you kind of feel yourself slowly learning what this thing can do. and it's but something. It kind of just you kind of feel like you can understand how to beat this thing now. It has incredibly durable hide, hard to penetrate, hard to break through. Weaker to magic. However, you'll have to the best solution is from what you gather is to attack its neck, and near its throat, get a good few slashes in there, and then decapitate the thing. You learn that it's
Mm-hmm.
poisonous. If it bites you, you're gone.
Okay. I then use Dark Fog to move out of the way as it rushes me again.
Dark fog's on cooldown.
Okay. Then as it rushes me, I guess I use uh I guess like I use Silver Skies. I fly into the air to dodge its move and try to strike down on its neck as it moves over me.
You fly up into the sky as it kind of like pops out of the sand and attempt to bite you. Um, as you fly up, the beast just lunges into the air after you, barely misses as you ascend higher than its body can reach. And as it lands back into the ground, you activate Silver Skies and attempt to fly into it. However, you have no idea how to fly, and it fails because you haven't at all practiced how to fly and have no idea what you're doing. So that fails.
Okay. I
Probably,
then
probably should have
use
actually learned about like what you are before you attempt to use it, but oh well. You're lost.
uh as my uh as my character okay. As my character uh
Song Caravan.
as my character stays near the beast for a long time, I use advocation in order to try to slowly influence the beast towards my side and to stop hunting me.
Doesn't work on non-sentient creatures.
Okay. Well, it seems that I'll just have to use Eclipse again and try to like uh plunge them into I mean, I guess I'll just use Eclipse to make sure that they see multiple versions of me, unable to know which one I am, leaving me able to try to get away.
You activate Eclipse again, and although you're starting to feel weak because you're using these abilities way too much, um, you activate it and mess with their senses, kind of forcing them to see double, similarly to when you get a bright flash of light in your eyes or disorientated. As it seems to not know what to attack, it just kind of starts biting everything. And during this time, you attempt to just get away and start running away as fast as possible. You run as fast as you physically can, trying to fly, but you have no idea how. One, because you're panicking. Two, because you've not practiced. Um, Eventually, you think you get away, and you turn back, and it's no longer chasing after you.
I take uh in order to recover from whatever energy I've used in that battle, I choose to take a break for a while.
You kind of like just sit down on the ground, you kind of just sit down on the ground, sand, and just kind of like contemplate what the fuck just happened. Uh, you stand there, just kind of like, what the fuck was that? You don't no idea what just happened. Regardless, you're safe now. You think? You kind of sit there like for a while, maybe 15 minutes, we'll say, just like getting your breath back. Afterwards, you stand up and can continue walking in the direction you were heading in or head in a different direction.
Um, at this point, I just continue walking in the opposite direction of where I saw the worm creature.
Okay. You just continue wherever you're heading. It's better. Wherever you plan on going, it's got to be better than where you just were. So yeah. So you continue walking away from that creature, and hopefully you think you can maybe find somewhere safe. You walk and walk, but nothing is, and with occasional cactus sips every once in a while. Still not flying because you don't know how, even though you can practice, but I don't tell you what to do, I guess. Uh, and the sun is it's starting to set. You think you've been walking for you've been walking for maybe not including the fight with the serpent. You've been walking for maybe 4 hours. If you had to guess, it's around 4 p.m. The sun is slowly but surely starting to head towards the horizon.
Um, as the sun starts heading to the horizon, I try experimenting with different ways I could travel, such as using the dark fog and flying a little bit more. Not to get too much practice, but just as like, a way to like experiment with them as I walk.
While you're walking. You attempt to use your wings and start flying. You have start and attempt to fly. You kind of flap them, and now that you're not under the pressure of being attacked by a fucking serpent, you think you get a slightly better hang at it, and are slowly getting better. You're slowly getting better at at managing it. It's still gonna take you a bit to fully get used to it, but at the very least, you think that you can at least like glide. You also experiment with dark fog and a few other abilities to see how they can move, but every time you use them, you start to feel more and more exhausted. You recognize that even when they're off cooldown, if you use them too much, they will tire you out very quickly. So you probably shouldn't do that. As you continue to head down, the sun continues to set. You continue to occasionally sip from the cacti, and occasionally taking a quick stop to rest because you're still kind of exhausted from the fight because you suck. Um, yeah. On one particular break, you kind of sit down, and suddenly you hear some howling beast in the distance once again. Uh, you look over. You look over to your left towards the mountains where you were walking from, and you see like something coming over the edge. You can either continue to run, or try to run away, or face whatever is coming at you.
I choose, while it is away from me, I choose to use observant to try to quickly learn about what type of creature it is.
Doesn't work. You haven't fought it yet.
Okay. Uh, um, in that case, I quickly I'm in a really bad position. I can't use like experiment or shut down or anything because these are like creatures without skills really, and I can't really use technology in the desert when there's nothing to like try to like put together. Uh, I use um I use I try to I try to get into the air to get a better look. Trying to make sure I don't go too high so I can still glide down safely.
Yeah. With actual like practice now, as you're flying in the sky, you get a quick sudden weird memory thing, and you suddenly get this weird vision of a dragonborn and another fallen angel who all the moment they arrived in the world immediately learned how to fly because they understood like how that they needed to actually like take care of that because it's like their main ability and as a race. And suddenly you feel really fucking stupid knowing that literally every single person who's come to this world has immediately learned how to fly, and you're the only fucking loser who can't handle it yet because you haven't put any effort into it. But that's probably because you're edgy to have a nihilistic view in the world because you don't know how to make characters. Anyways,
I feel like this is getting too personal.
that
I
vision
mean,
that vision quickly disappears from your mind and you suddenly forget it. Also, Elpis is gonna shun you really hard because you got scared off by the Alacrity and he actually killed one. Meanwhile, you couldn't even handle one.
Ratio, imagine.
Yeah, Elpis went to the Kinshin Desert and like beat one of those things, and actually no, he killed 3 technically. You lost to 1. You kind of suck.
well, I thought I knew how to use my wings instinctively, so I was like, I'll
No,
just jump up and
no,
strike
no.
on a dick.
You don't know how to use your wings instinctively.
I'm the strongest motherfucker here for now.
Somehow you're in your vision you learn that the 2 people who happen to be a dragonborn whose name maybe started with an A and a fallen angel whose name maybe started with an E, you know, all immediately attempted to practice flying because they realized that they shouldn't assume shit and stop being cocky and narcissistic about everything because you have no room for character development because you suck. Anyways, that memory quickly fades from your mind and you forget all about it like it never happened. Anyways. It's almost weird. It was weird anyway. You anything, and if you forget it completely and never remember it again, you fly up into the sky with more practice. You don't collapse into the fucking ground again, and fall and look at the beast approaching you. It's rather large, maybe the same size of an island. It's not an island, a fucking lion. I can't speak. Lion. They seem to have 6 pairs of legs. And as well as fins on their back, which you don't know what are for. They appear to be a light brown color with lines of gold running across their hide. They have a very long body to accommodate for their 6 pairs of legs, but are rather thin. Almost kind of reminds you of a snake, but like with legs, kind of, except for the head. The head looks like a mammal head, but it has the teeth kind of poke out from its side, almost like a crocodile. Their eyes seem to have protective covering. And they're traveling in a pack of 4. They eventually approach you and kind of just look up at you and start just kind of staring at you.
In that case, I'll use. In that case, I mean, at this. Okay, so for observance, can I use it at any time, or must I be in combat?
Must be in combat.
Okay, in that case, I will use Silver Skies and attempt to get closer in order to like learn more about it without risking too much injury.
You're already in combat with the damn thing. It's trying to eat you.
Oh, well, you said okay. Well, in that case, I can use observance.
I never said
right?
you weren't in combat. I said that you needed to be in combat.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Okay. I use observance and to try to learn about it as I transform into Silver Skies in order to try to I guess like just fight it like
There's
physically.
4 of them.
Okay. You know, what abilities did they take that make them so easy to kill them?
Dread can summon swords that he can control. He can activate Bloodlust and become a rage-turning monster. He can turn his claws into basically steel blades. Elpis can have a pocket dimension and put anything in it, store anything inside of it, including himself. He has heightened agility and incredible observance. He's able to fly almost instantaneously, and also actually learned magic.
Yeah. Well, are my wings that are all like, cause you know like how a feather is shaped? Are they all sharp or are they just blunt?
They're blunt. You're an angel. You're not a mecha.
Mhm.
I don't know what you thought wings looked like, personally.
Mhm.
I mean, I know you're edgy, so you
Okay,
think everything in this world has to have sharp edges and like straight lines. But I hate to break it to you, in the real world, that's not how things work.
All right. In that case, I try to, and my telekinesis is not. Is it strong enough to move them?
You can try.
Uh, I guess brace for it with Silver Skies. I try to use telekinesis to try to like make their like foot slip or something.
You try to use telekinesis to fuck with the animals. It kind of works. They kind of seem to lose their ground and almost like stop looking at you for a bit, but it doesn't last very long because it's not meant to last for a long time. And they just kind of look at you again. You try to use observance to learn more about them. You get a bit more of an idea about how fast they can run that you can't, and well, more or less you cannot run them. No shit. But other than that, you not really, because
Other cactuses nearby.
I mean, yeah, cactuses everywhere.
I try to use telekinesis to throw one at it.
You use telekinesis and pick up a cactus and kind of throw it at the beast. It hits them and they're confused, and a few spines get stuck into their hide, but they're otherwise unreally phased.
I use Silver Skies and just like whack my fist into it.
You try to approach one of them and activate Silver Skies and try to punch it in the face. It actually does a decent amount of force and kind of knocks one back. But in case you forgot, there's fucking 4 of them, and the other are trying to attack you, and they bite your arms and legs, and it hurts a lot. You fly up, and it managed to let go, but you are now bleeding.
Um, Using okay. Ah, I can't use that though. Yeah. Because Eternal Promise is like magical, and I don't.
Oh, you have mana. You
I
don't
have mana, but I don't know magic.
Yeah, you don't know magic. You have mana points though.
Mm-hmm. In that case, I try to let. Seeing as they're crowding, they were just like underneath me as I flew up. I try to like use my weight, and creating like a shield underneath me with my wings to like press down on. I try to crush them.
You activate Silver Skies again, kind of like wrap your wings around you. It's almost like a wrecking ball, an attempt to just fall on them. And it kind of works. The metal slams into one of the beasts. You hear a crack in one of their backs, and they crumple over, and one of them does die because you broke their spine. But the other 3 just look at you even more pissed off now. Now they're really not gonna let up. You can tell just by looking at them, they're really fucking angry. Good luck. Still bleeding, by the way.
I use Eclipse to disorient them as it simultaneously gives me speed and strength, so I could rush one of them and try to just, I guess, like this time, crush it into the earth.
You activate Eclipse to blind the 2, and you feel the strength and the speed of the beast temporarily envelop you. And you try the same thing again, and you manage to break the other one's spine, and it crumples over and dies. Now the other 2 are there, and they start to waver a bit. You think that maybe if you can get one more, the other one will just run away.
I use Bloodthirsty to regenerate, as I have done. I mean, actually, that's more passive because like I've done damage and pain. In that case, I use yeah. In that case, I guess I'm just gonna use I'm gonna experiment. Actually no. What is a good thing to use? I guess like I experiment with the use. I mean, I don't think I have enough time, but I try to
Probably not.
grab like one of the bones, or like rip one of the bones out of one of the dead beasts
Not
and
gonna
use it
work.
as okay. In that case, I guess like yeah. In that case, I use telekinesis to try to throw one away as I prepare to take on the other one with, I guess, Silver Skies again.
You attempt to disorientate one of the beasts with telekinesis and manage to push them back a bit, enough to get them out of the way for you to do the same thing and kill the last beast under the weight of Silver Skies. Realizing that it's not gonna win, the final beast runs away.
Using experiments now with my newfound safety, I try to see what I can salvage from the monsters and see what I can try to put together in order to make sure for the next encounter I actually learn and grab a weapon instead of just using brute force.
You use experiment on the beast, and you think that you might be able to use experiment on the beast, and nothing happens. Nothing from this beast will help you in that.
In that case, I grab some of the meat in order to nourish myself in the future. But I would obviously need to cook it. Probably.
Not necessarily.
I'm a fallen angel though, so maybe not.
You can try anything.
I take a small bite of the raw flesh in order to try to get a taste without digesting too much of it.
Yes, guys, I only ate an ounce of chlamydia, not a pound.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
Exactly.
you cut off some of the meat from the beasts and attempt to eat a small bit. You take a bite into it, tastes like shit, doesn't feel good. However, you could still eat it. Up to you.
I choose not to yeah, then I won't. I choose to grab some of the bones. Maybe they will be useful in the future.
You pull out some of the bones from the creature and kind of like hold it in your hand for some reason. You also have
I use silver skies to try to sharpen them, maybe.
you've made a shiv. Congratulations. The bone can't handle much else.
Yeah. In that case, I continue on my journey again.
You continue on your journey with a handful of raw meat and a shiv in your other hand. I don't know, you're just holding on to raw meat right now. I don't really know how you think you're gonna store that, but
I think it'll rot, but yeah.
most likely. Regardless, you continue with those beasts behind you. You continue on your journey and continue walking in the direction you are heading in. The sun at this point is really starting to set. It's just kissing the horizon, and you start to worry that you're not going to find any good place to be until nightfall. As you walk over a hill, you look down and start to see smoke coming from over the next hill. You can either go towards it or attempt to like do something else. I don't know.
I go towards the smoke.
You start to head, almost run towards the smoke in hopes of, people, and eventually you reach the other overhill and look over, and to your both surprise and joy, there is a big village in front of you. It seems very tribal. The houses tend to be made out of like twine, hide, and bones. However, there are people there. Oh, they're not human at all. They look very piggish, almost like big burly humanoids. They still are on two legs and seem to have hands and feet, but they also have, some of them have tusks, some of them have piggish snouts, some of them have piggish ears. But you could still definitely resemble them as kind of humanoid. You can either choose to approach, sneak in, whatever you want.
I try to sneak in, try to see if I can isolate one of them so I can talk to them alone. If they can understand.
You approach the village slowly and cautiously, attempting to disguise yourself somehow. I don't know how you do that, but you approach and kind of like press your back up against the walls of the village and kind of listen in. They're talking about there are too many people talking at once to really make anything intelligible. And now you can either like go around the front and enter, but you can't really isolate anyone because the entire village is surrounded by walls.
I enter the premises, holding the raw meat, in front of me, sort of like an offering, without saying anything, just walking towards
Well,
the
you,
village.
you kind of enter the front gate with raw meat in your hand, looking really stupid. Um, as you approach the tower guards call out to you, "Halt! State your business, stranger."
I'm simply traveler standing by. I have not had food or shelter for a few days. This is the first civilization I have seen,
Hasn't even been a
and
day. Hasn't even been a day.
okay, well then yeah. This is the uh first place I could get to take refuge from the desert. Uh, I mean no harm.
The person on the tower looks at you and likely story, demon. You expect us to believe that a fallen angel just appeared in the desert and suddenly is in need of shelter. Why don't you just fly away? Go back to the demon realm. He bombards you with questions that you don't even know what he's saying, because you have no idea
Hmm.
what this world is. You're not quite sure how to respond.
I ask him, what is the demon realm? Just random.
He stares at you like, "Are you joking with me? You must be joking with me. Clearly, you are trying to you're clearly just trying to trick us into letting you into our village, aren't you?"
Probably more like dehydrated, but I I'm sorry for my ignorance. I have not been to the demon realm recently.
He stares at you and says, "All demons are born in the demon realm or go to the demon realm. You are a demon, therefore you are from the demon realm."
Uh, in that case, I respond by I respond by using actually that may not go well. I was gonna say I respond by using visage to take slowly like I guess like show that I could remove the horns and stuff and like the wings uh as like a kind of show. But that's probably not gonna work.
Really?
And probably have more questions as a guard.
Really? You don't
But
say.
in that case, I ask I ask him why must he fear if I am a fallen angel?
He responds, "Because you're a demon. That's why. What else? What other reason do I need?"
Uh I tell him if you could inform me of my place in this world. It seems I've forgotten most of it. I will be on my I'll be on my merry way the next day.
The orc stares at you and says, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
uh I tell him I only have memory of the last day of this world.
He stares at you and says, "Well, tough luck."
Uh in that case uh I was not prepared for this. In that case I ask if there's someone else I can talk to, if there's some sort of leader of this village or something who might be willing to speak with me.
The guard says, "Yeah, we have a leader, but if he thinks you're suspicious, he'll kill you."
Uh, and see, that's a pretty bad thing to do, though. You know, why murder? You know what I'm saying? No, I'm kidding. But I risk my chances, believing that my experience with the other with the creatures in the desert have shown me that I have enough control over some of my abilities, such as dark fog and perhaps a little bit of my wings in order to try to like attempt an escape if needed.
You tell the guard you agree, and this massive orc comes out. His skin is a deep crimson red. He's got very powerful leather armor and tusks. He's got a big broadsword on his back and some other things adorning his belt. He's maybe 2 times as tall as you. He just domineers over you and kind of asks, "What do you want, demon?"
I come to I ask for refuge in his village for a day as I try to sort out and rest from my experiences in the desert.
He says, "Why should I trust a demon who apparently doesn't remember anything for the past day, appears in the desert one day, and comes to my village asking for a refuge?"
As you can see, by the fact that I'm carrying raw meat and around, I I do not hold much. I don't have hmm. How would I structure it in that case?
I
I
don't
guess
know.
I would say, man, I do not know how they did this. I thought it was okay. Well, I feel like I'm gonna die if I say the wrong thing.
Oh no,
But
elves are very accepting of demons. That's why. Elpis got just fine.
okay. Well, I tell him I'm sorry, but if you would like, you can continue to talk with me. I'll tell you what I know so far, but and my experience in the desert, in order to try to win your trust. But I'm afraid I do not remember much of this world, and I hope that this raw meat suffices as a gift that you can cook, as it has been recently killed, and can serve as a show
You were
of
literally
gratitude.
holding it in your hand.
You can cook it.
The orc chief just kind of just stares at you, stares at the meat, stares back at you, and then kicks you in the chest. You fall over, dropping both the meat and the shiv you made out of the bone. It fucking hurts, but you think nothing was broken, just bruised. You stand up and he stares at you and says, "If you're gonna insult me, do a better job at it."
In that case,
Before you can speak, he looks at you and says, "If you really want to earn my trust and get into this village for a day, then you have to fight me." He said,
I look him in the eyes, seeing no other path in this world that has betrayed me and my
Shut
expectations.
the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. No one fucking loves you. No one fucking loves you, okay? Listen to this shit. Listen to this shit, man.
Look.
Listen to this shit. Listen.
Seeing no other option.
Instead of having literally any empathy or understanding for the people of this world and accepting that he doesn't know their situation, he immediately goes the nihilist route and assumes that like the world has betrayed him. You ever heard of those people who instead of like actually looking on themselves and asking themselves what's wrong with themselves,
this world shall know pain
have
an
just
ass.
blame themselves? Why do you think no vengeful villain ever succeeds? Or why people at the end of the day don't like vengeful villains? Because revenge at the end of the day isn't a fucking good thing. Right, and like you're like, oh, these people don't trust me because I'm a demon. That therefore the world bad, obviously, guys. Even though I chose this race, guys, I chose it definitely. It's world's fault.
Yeah, but I mean, in the eyes of my character,
I'm so edgy, guys. I'm so edgy, guys. I'm so edgy, guys. I'm so edgy, like the world.
Okay, but in the eyes of my character, I've been thrown into the desert, right?
The world hates me, guys. Like the world, like it's all the world's fault, guys. Like the world, like
okay,
guys,
but like,
the world,
okay,
like, hates me.
Jamal, you gotta understand. My first encounter in this world was a fucking apex predator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got the better option. The fact I could have
Oh yeah, no,
died
the same,
session
the
one.
same for me. I got schwacked by the
You
supreme enemy.
dreadfully
and
tried to
then-
fight the fucking Thunder Dragon, the Lightning Dragon Lord, and Jamal was like, "You guys won't let me."
Okay,
into
that's
your
on him though.
Yeah, true.
That's just on
That's
him.
actually
Listen, I got the scars to prove how awesome I am.
Yeah, no, that's
He
just on him.
Dread
That's
had
just
to
for his
fight so many
stupidity.
creatures. He nearly died a few times, and Jamal's like, "You won't let me to your village, guys! Oh my god, guys, this world is so evil, guys, like I can't believe it, guys.
I got it.
It's so evil, guys. Like, it's all the world's fault, guys.
I got it.
Guys, it's all the world's fault, guys. It's not me, guys.
Okay.
I'm perfect, guys. I'm the only justice in this world, guys.
Okay. That's not how I'm trying to play this character.
Yes, it is. Hey, Alphys, try to confirm with me here. That's absolutely what he sounds like right now.
I mean, yeah, it is kind. Even if it's not how you're trying to portray it, it's kind of how it is being portrayed.
Okay, fine. I won't say that again. All right.
Guys, the world betrayed me, guys.
Okay.
Guys, the world betrayed me.
So-
This one orc, guys. Mom, this orc won't let me into his village. I'm so betrayed. Oh my gosh. Mom.
Asylvius, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. I promise you, it's not that deep.
I think it is. Mom,
Okay, to be fair, my character was like,
mean orc chief won't let
Okay,
me into
okay.
his village.
lore-wise,
Where?
I was just
It's not even
abducted from the
deep.
world, reincarnated into the desert, fought creatures beyond my comprehension, can't find crab, see this one place, and it's already hostile to me. So my character feels like a little
betrayed
disenfranchised.
me.
Okay, I got it. I won't say edgy stuff like that. Okay.
My character basically already betrayed. Basically said, "Fuck this world. Fuck this god. I'm doing my own thing. I'm being my own." That's basically what I did.
Okay, let's continue. Okay. Then, in this scenario, I see,
Asylvius,
I
please.
see his offer of a challenge,
All I hear is
and seeing no way, no other way, to make progress, as everything beyond the village seems to be desert as well.
There's no other way, guys.
I can, use observant to try to start to understand him and his abilities in order to try to like better maneuver in the
Again, not in a fight yet.
outcome. What?
Not in a fight yet.
Not in a fight yet? I mean, he kicked me.
Okay, yeah, it's not a fight because you didn't fight back. You just kind of took it.
I stand up and I say I accept your offer for a battle to prove my willingness to earn your trust.
The orc chief smiles and said, "Good. I haven't gone out to fight real competition in a while." He says, he tells you to follow him, and you enter the village, and all the orcs are kind of like cheering because they seem all excited for a battle as well. He pulls you to the far side of the left side of the village, and there's a big arena. It's just a simple arena made out of dirt, nothing special about it. You enter, and he stands on one side, and you stand on the other. He pulls out his blade, and he says, "Only rules in the arena, no killing. That's it." He said, "But however, if you lose an arm, that's on you." He gets his big broadsword ready, and another orc, a smaller orc on the stands, gives a countdown for the fight. You can do you can do something while the countdown's going off.
Wait, can I ask them to provide me with a weapon in order for like the duel?
You ask
Or-
if he can provide a weapon, and the orc snuffs and motions to one of the other guys. The orc chief snuffs and orders one of the other orcs, who hands you a rusty iron sword.
I guess this will do for now. I use observant to try to learn a bit about him and where his weak points could be in a fight.
You use observant, activate observant for a bit, and attempt to learn what you can about this orc. Most of his build, but his muscle mass is evenly distributed across his entire body. It's clear he trains all aspects of it. If you had to look for a weak point anywhere, and you can't really find one. Muscles cover his entire body. If you had to guess anywhere that would be weak, you assume the traditionally weak parts of the body, that being the face and the groin. But other than that, you really can't spot any chinks in his armor.
Okay. Then, as the fight commences, I prepare as yeah, okay. So has he like okay? I see that about him. Uh, I now choose to start to slowly walk towards him. With the iron sword in hand.
You begin to approach him, and as the battle commences, he gives you no time to really react and immediately charges towards you with a broadsword screaming. However, he's very big, and it's taking him a bit to approach you because he's still trying to charge across the entire arena. You have a few seconds to react before he reaches close enough to hit you.
I use Eclipse in order to make sure he keeps seeing me in the position I was, and as he no longer uh, sees me and detects me, I use their footshell slide in order to quickly gain speed boost in order to aim for his face using my wings as uplift.
You quickly cycle through your skills, activating Eclipse to change the opponent's the Orc Chief's vision and make him imagine that you're still standing there trying to brace his blow. He continues to charge straight towards you as you secretly move out of the way and activate their footshell slide and gain increased speed. You're now on the the orc chief runs past you and attempts to slash the eclipse you've made, and he has cut through it and just turns into fog. You're now behind him and he doesn't know where you are.
Uh, I I guess like I use dark fog to push myself up, and then I use my sword trying to plunge it into him.
You use Dark Fog to boost yourself into the sky a bit with the help of your wings, and attempt to fly up and stab your sword into him. With his back still turned to you, he only barely is able to turn around to see you, and as you plunge your sword into your back, he roars in pain for a bit, but immediately but you plunge the sword into him, but it goes deep, but into his back, and you think you've done damage, and he swings his arm around and punches you in the side, sending you flying. You had a grip on the sword, so the sword also gets pulled out of his back, and you land with the sword right next to you. You quickly pick it up and face him again. You're injured, and bruised, but nothing has been broken yet. You think you've done damage to him at least. However, the orc chief faces at you and looks into the sky a bit and roars incredibly loudly. Like almost loud enough to rupture your eardrums, but not quite enough. And you look at his back, and the wound is completely healed.
Uh, uh, using in that case, I use telekinesis to throw my sword as hard as possible into his face.
You mean you're far away, but okay.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I guess like I grab onto my sword and this time uh I use adapter to try to like make sure that if he does it again, I'm ready. Uh, and I'm trying to learn again like his movement patterns and how he's swinging. As I slowly approach him once more.
Yeah. You activate adapter and an attempt to prepare yourself for a similar punch or a similar charge as you begin to approach. He kind of laughs a bit and says, as the orc chief says, "That was a clever tactic, befitting of a slippery, cunning demon." And he readies his broadsword again and charges at you again. At this point,
In this
you
case,
feel more comfortable that you can dodge his attack or dodge his attack, or at the very least get out of the way.
I use my wings to slowly. Actually, in this case, I use yeah, I use dark fog to sidestep whatever blow he tries to do with his great sword, and I quickly try to lodge my sword into his side using telekinesis.
Okay, he charges at you again with his sword and tries to slash at you. You quickly activate Dark Fog again, pulling more energy out of you than last time, and move just out of the way of his sword and activate telekinesis, and you throw his sword, throw your sword to the side, and you activate telekinesis to stab it into his hip. The sword plunges deep into his hip, and he roars out in pain again. He's incapacitated for maybe a second or two.
I use Bloodthirsty, making me more aggressive and regenerating some of the damage I took from being launched. I go in for another swing, this time trying to strike at his leg in order to make him fall.
Mm-hmm. You pull out the sword using telekinesis, continued telekinesis, and attempt to stab his leg. Just before your blade reaches, however, the orc screams out, "Fortify!" And the next thing you know, your blade bounces off of his leg like iron. Almost like you just hit iron. Unsure of what to do, you quickly jump back, realizing that his skin is now much more stronger, and it won't be as easy to pierce it.
I use Shutdown to weaken his skill.
You activate Shutdown, but it doesn't work. He's not a skill.
It doesn't work.
You realize you realize that means it's not a skill. It's a magic spell.
Readjusting to this, I use Curiosity as I slowly try to as I fought him for a while. I try to learn if he has what physical, mental, and magical abilities he has and how I can counter him.
You activate as you've been fighting. Curiosity slowly begins to activate, and you learn that mentally speaking, there's not much you can do. Physically, also not much you can do. However, you learn that as an orc, he's likely weak to forms of magic, and that he is capable of using earth magic, which you assume that's whatever spell he used was a part of that. Other than that, besides his great physical strength, which is rather obvious from his muscles, there really isn't much you can do to him with your current strength.
Is it possible that I can start trying to fumble my way into learning magic? Like, just start, like, flicking my fingers trying to, like, start something like a fire or something? Okay.
You don't
So
even
it's like
have
something
fire
you have to
magic. What
fully
the
learn.
fuck are you smoking?
Oh, sorry.
Did you
yeah.
forget
Well,
your elements?
No, I know. It's a
Point and
but
laugh
still.
at this fucking
Okay.
dude right now. He
I'm saying, for
forgot
example.
his elements. Oh my god.
Okay.
Thank you, Dread.
In this case, realizing that he doesn't have any he doesn't have any strong weaknesses or something, I try to put on I realize I don't really have to beat them, as the goal of the duel is not exactly to kill him. That would be against the rules of the duel. I just have to put on a good fight, showing my my valiant stand against him, I guess, or my persistence in wanting to stay. Thus, I get ready to strike at him again after being repulsed. I use Dark Fog again to move quickly. This time, instead of striking at him, I try to attack instead of trying attacking him, I try attacking where his hands are on the weapon.
I forgot about the music. My apologies. Never mind, Nero 2 isn't responding either. Why are all the Nero bots fucking...
Yeah, they're down for some reason.
You know what? Fuck it. I'll get Nero 3.
Nero 3? Man!
We're gonna keep adding the Nero bots.
My character's starting to realize that,
if one Nero bot doesn't work, the other one should. Damn it.
My character's
Is Nero just down?
Yeah, maybe. But, my character's starting to realize that although the other creatures inside the desert were much more malicious and trying to kill me, obviously has a hunting instinct, right? The orc himself probably isn't, and therefore I probably can't use let tyrants fall on him, as he seems to just be combative again by nature, but not exactly malicious
Let's
towards
go.
me.
I just keep cycling through bots until I find a Nero bot that works. Big W. Anyways, yeah.
I try to learn his intentions in this fight, whether he's trying to kill me, whether he just wants a good show to I guess to make himself much more popular and powerful in the eyes of his people. Trying to learn his actual goals in this. I use Eye of Truth to try to learn his true intention in this duel.
You activate Eyes of Truth to attempt to learn his intention, and you scan him and realize that his intention is in fact just to fight you to test if you're trustworthy or not, and you realize that you're actually really fucking stupid, and maybe everything in this world isn't as convoluted as it seems, and maybe that people are just people, and that their reasons don't have to be so fucking edgy and fucking and cynical and fucking stupid, and it's just possibly, maybe just possibly, people can have real intentions that everything is a fucking political game. And then you consider maybe we should stop thinking that way because you're a fucking loser and edgy as shit. Anyways, yeah, that happens.
Okay, then I quickly use is he currently aware of me?
What do you mean?
Wasn't he okay? So he fortified his knee. Is he back up on the from the ground? Okay. I try to bait out his great sword and try to make him swing at me. As he does, I use Dark Fog to dodge away, and my wings to climb onto the weapon so I can slash at his hands and chest in order to make him leave the weapon, I guess, because he's getting caught up.
You charge at him with his greatsword still in hand, confident that you can dodge his attack now because of how long the fight's been going on. He slashes at you with the greatsword again, and he slashes you with the greatsword again, and you dodge it. And you attempt to use Dark Fog as combined with Silver Skies to get behind him and begin to attack his hands. However, as you attempt to go
in a second.
Go above, you're unmuted, Dread. You attempt to go above him, but as you do, he seems to activate a skill and boosts forward maybe 2 to 3 feet and turns around and faces you. You're now falling, and your grip has been lost because what you're going to latch onto is now no longer there, and he is now behind you. He smirks and grabs his greatsword and swings straight at you.
In that scenario, are my wings gone? I can't use them right now?
No, you can use them.
Okay. I try to use my wings to flap away and get a gust of wind so I can try to dodge or at least make some distance between me and the greatsword.
Yeah, you quickly react and turn around facing him and pull out your wings and flap him in the opposite direction, blowing back. His greatsword barely misses your chest, which he was aiming for. And you barely manage to regain your ground and ready your sword again, but he's already lunging at you, and just as you ready your sword, his greatsword is already coming bearing down on top of you. Whatever he did, it's clear his speed and agility are much more increased.
Using this, I use Eclipse once more, but this time I shroud his senses into complete darkness. As he is unable to see me, I of course, since he is near me, I do try to get away and use the confusion in order to make some distance between me and him.
He attempts to slam the greatsword down straight into your head, but you activate Eclipse and blind him one more time. You back away, and you manage to roll out of the way as his greatsword slams into the ground in front of him. He looks around, not being able to see his sight. However, as you try to approach him again, attack him, he seems to close his eyes. And as he approaches, he instantly swings his greatsword straight at you. It doesn't seem to be a skill, that's just how good he is as a warrior. You're able to back up just out of the way, but he faces you again with his greatsword in hand. Clear that he's fought enough battles that he doesn't need his sight to know where you are.
I start throwing. I start trying to chuck the sword at him with telekinesis, back onto him and back into my hand, trying to injure him any way I can, like really quickly.
You activate telekinesis again. Slowly you feel your energy is starting to wane. Definitely, you're starting to get really fatigued. You throw the sword at him, but he deflects it with the blunt side of his blade, and it bounces back towards him in your hand. As the blade comes back to you, the chief realizes that you don't have your blade in your hand and begins to charge at you. At this point, he's regained his sight. As your sword returns to your hand, as he comes bearing down on you again with his greatsword.
I choose to use Metal Skies and
What the hell is Metal Skies?
sorry, Silver
I'm
Skies.
not sure if you're the name of your own skill. I wonder your point I'm laughing at.
Okay, but
Zed, play the vine move. Thank you.
okay. I use Silver Skies and as again, like I've seen this move a few times. I tried to like slide past him and use my wings to strike at him. Kind of trying to like, you know, I guess strike at his shins and stuff and try to make sure he trips.
He charges at you with his greatsword, recognizing the attack again. He attempts to barrel down on you, but you easily get out of the way and use Silver Disguise on your wings.
Yeah.
On your wings to attempt to claw at his shins again. This time they land true and start making cuts in his legs. However, they don't seem to go any deeper than the main tops of his hide. Doesn't seem to encumber him much. Just like a mild annoyance to him. As you continue to use momentum to dash behind him and gain some distance, he faces you again and smiles. You don't know what he's doing, but it's clear it's going to be big. He seems to be charging something almost.
I use realizing the unexpected circumstances of the arena, I choose to try to, I guess, I don't know actually if experiment would apply here, but I actually realizing that I have agility over him, right? I try to utilize keeping my back to the arena and quickly using it as like something I can dash off of and strike at him quickly, trying to use the background as my advantage, as he's obviously much more bulky, but I'm still trying to, I guess, like get openings and try to swing. I'm still trying to swing at his hands in order to make him lose grip onto his greatsword.
Yeah, you bounce off you push off the arena wall as a momentum attempt to fly straight towards him with your sword in hand while he's charging up something, but not wanting to let his attack get off. You smash into your sword and begin to attack his hands, and he drops. But he seems to. But when you look at him, he just, as you attempt to attack his hands, he just throws his greatsword at you. You barely manage to turn to the right as the greatsword flies into you and gets lodged straight into the wall. You're not sure why he did that, but you continue to advance towards him, and you think you're about to get a clean hit in when an aura pushes you back, stopping your momentum and almost making you like fall like do like a backwards flip in the air. You manage to catch yourself and land on your feet. You turn and face the orc chief, who is now glowing orangish brown, and he seems to cast another spell. He says Vanguard, and next thing you know, his arms and hands become pure stone, magical orange stone, and he gets into a fighting position recognized in martial arts, the martial arts you've seen before in the old world. Before you can even react, he charges at you at maybe double the speed he was moving at before, ready to pummel you with punches.
In that case, I start using again, as as the battle has been going on for longer and longer, I am starting to, I really gotta learn magic, man. I'm sorry, like, God, like, it would be helpful to throw a few pebbles from now and then. In this case, I start to focus exclusively on avoiding him until, as my character expects, this will eventually wear off. Trying to use my wings and as much as possible to reduce my uses of dark fog, except where necessary.
You managed to barely avoid the first punch. You notice that as he's punching you, aura fists are coming out of his hand that are fly out maybe a meter. It's clear to you that even if he doesn't directly hit you, he can still hit you with those. You continue to back up, and although he is fast, you're just managing to barely avoid it. When suddenly you hear a voice in your head. You have no idea what it is, but it speaks to you, and it says notice. It's the exact words it says are notice, the speed and spatial requirements for meeting the acquisition of the basic skill, increased flight, have been met. Acquiring skill now. You don't know what the voice is telling you, but suddenly you feel your wings get even lighter. You think into yourself and realize that whatever this is granted you the new skill. It said it was increased flight, and you, without even fucking thinking, you don't know what the hell happened, but you immediately activate it, and suddenly you are able to easily avoid the Orc Chief's punches. Eventually, the flurry ends, and the spell that the chief cast disappears.
As his spell is wearing off, I choose one final time. I use Eclipse, but this time instead of
before you can think of what to
him...
do, a voice calls out from beyond the stand of the arena, calling for an end to the fight. Saying the announcer announces that the fight is over, and with that the orcs in the arena start cheering. You look to the orc chief, and he is busy grabbing his greatsword, and he smiles at you. This time not in a fighting determined way, but in a happy way. He walks up to you and slaps you hard on the back, almost knocking you over, and says, "That was a good fight, kid. I haven't had someone pressure me like that in a while. You're alright. You can stay in our village as long as you want."
Thank you for this honor. Fighting you was honestly a nightmare. You are much more powerful than I could have ever imagined.
He laughs it off and says, "I'll take that compliment." And with that, you walk out of the arena. The rest of the orcs kind of walk up to you and start like cheering you on, saying that they've never seen anyone that evenly match their chief before. With that, the orc chief approaches you and tells you, "We have a spare room in the main tavern." He points down the direction. He points to the opposite side of the village and says, "Over, you'll see it over there. Walk in, and I'm sure the innkeeper will have heard of the fight by now. Just tell them that I approve, and he'll give you the room." I walk into the room with the innkeeper, and lie down, attempting to take a day's rest from the hectic day that just occurred. Yeah, you walk into the keep as the orcs are still cheering you on. Yeah, you walk into the keep, and meanwhile the orcs are still like cheering your name, saying that it was such a great fight. And you walk up to you enter the inn. You not even like paying attention to anyone around you. You kind of just immediately approach the innkeep, completely fucking exhausted. You explain the situation to him, and he says, "Of course, the room's on the right. the fourth door from the right. You head down and enter the room. It's a pretty standard shabby room, but there's a bed and a place to in a place to rest. You put the iron sword you still had on you instinctively on the table, and collapse into the bed instantly. You don't know how long you were asleep for, but eventually you wake up. You wake up and look around you, and you remember, kind of like almost forgetting what had happened. It almost felt like a dream to you.
I feel like I've found
Okay, one
a
moment.
new stability to this world. Like, it no longer feels as hectic as once I arrived, and I no longer
Alright.
feel as lost, surprisingly. In that case, I'm gonna walk around the village and see what I can learn. In this world, I might as well start get adapted, as I feel like this is the new status quo.
You walk out of your room and begin to approach. Yeah, you walk out of the room and begin to approach and exit the hallway. You look around the tavern. It's bustling. It's all orcs, but they're come in different. They're like they remind you of almost humans. Almost how, although they're the same species, there's definitely a lot of variation. Some have muscles. Some have bigger chests. Some are fatter. Some, you know, obviously there's female and male orcs. You look at them and they kind of remind you of humans, but almost not. It's weird to you. It's like they're humans, but they're not humans. You can attempt to approach one of the tables, approach the innkeeper, or leave.
I attempt to approach one of the tables.
You decide to approach the nearest tables full of with orcs. It's two burly-looking orcs and one smaller, more modern, more modest-looking orc. They notice you approaching, and the biggest orc at the table says, "Oh, it's the demon. That was a really cool fight I saw. You really gave our chief a run for his money. I've never seen anyone avoid the chief's vanguard flurry before, and yet you managed to dodge every single punch. Very impressive."
Thanks for the compliment. I'm new in town. I am
Oh shit!
interested.
Really, you're that's crazy. That's crazy, guys.
How do you guys live onto a day-to-day basis? Curious.
Yes. What do you mean by that?
How does I start off with a simple question. What do you do in order to feed yourself?
He says, "Well, that's easy. We go out and hunt. Lots of animals in the desert if you know where to look."
What types of animals?
Well, there's the most common we enjoy is the Kinshin beast. 6 legs, large and yellow. They spit poison at you, but we've learned how to avoid it. They have lots of cuts of meat on them. And they come in packs of anywhere from 3 to 7. Large pack should be enough to feed maybe half the village. And then there's lackeries, big snake creatures. They have a lot of flesh on them as well because they're so long. However, hunting them takes much more different, and we tend to need a large party. There are a few other ones that live in the desert as well. There's the cobra lele, but we don't really hunt those. There's the alazo. The alazo is another interesting thing. However, it only comes out at night, so we don't hunt those either. Elf dogs are another common sight, but they don't really have that many food on them. There are a few others, but the main ones we hunt would be the Kinshin beast and the lackeries. The orc explains.
Is the Corba Lele large and dangerous? Should I be worried about any of these creatures?
He says they're all dangerous, kid. It's the desert.
I asked him, I saw the chief of the village practicing magic. Do you all have magical abilities?
Some of us. Not all of us are born with magic. However, if we are, we tend to use them. Although the chief is definitely the best magic user out of all of us, without a doubt.
Do you know where I can find someone who practices magic?
I mean, besides the chief, I don't really know anyone here personally who's that proficient in magic. I heard the chief actually learned from elves, from wood elves, how to use his magic.
Are the wood elves close to here?
No, we're not close to any civilization. I have a map if you want.
Could I? That would be very helpful, really.
He hands you a map of Althvinhaim. You are now allowed to access the Althvinhaim maps.
Okay.
He shows you the map of Althvinhaim, and he points to the desert here. He says, "This is the Kinshin Desert where we are. Our village is right here in the middle of it. This is the rest of Althvinhaim. We're really the only non-elf/fairy civilization in the world right now. On this continent. If you see here, he points to the forest on the east side of the map. This is the Haldrados forest. That's where the wood elves live. It said that the chief apparently had taken a boat all the way there. Actually, he had met some adventurers fighting in the Kinshin Desert, and they told him about the wood elves, and he joined them and journeyed over to the wood elf kingdom of Sawalonia and learned earth magic there. There are a few other cities that, as you can see, as he points to the various cities on the map, and they're all home to the different races of elves. There's the sun elves, the moon elves, the drow elves, the high elves, and the regular elves, not including the wood elves, of course. And he also points to the large forest, and in the very center of the continent is the Great Fairy Forest, a massive forest that encompasses a lot of the island. Here are where the Fae live, an ancient race that existed even before the elves. They're very powerful and mystical magic users, and it's also home to the second most powerful supreme entity, the Fae Monarch.
That is very interesting. Do you know how do you know the closest, would it be safer to travel up north or south?
Well, depends on where you want to go, but down south is really just dunes and monsters. Up north is also monsters, but there's, you'll notice he points to the many cliffs. You'll see these cliffs here, and once you reach the Celeste Rivers, technically you could take a boat and reach the oasis and the eventual village of elves if you wanted. I wouldn't say either or is more safe. There's gonna be monsters no matter where you go in this desert.
In that case, I will have to bid you adieu. It was nice speaking to you.
The orc says, by the way, I didn't catch your name.
My name? I go by Kylian.
He says, no, nice, that's a weird name, but I suppose I've never met a demon before. He says his name is Throck, and you say goodbye and exit the inn. You look around the village and it's very bustling. Men, women, and children all seem to be doing something, whether it's like simply moving boxes around, preparing to go hunt, or just cleaning up places.
I walk around, seeing if I can strike up a conversation with the orcs that are there.
You look around the village and approach one of the elves working on stacking some boxes. What do you need, kid?
Do you know anyone in this village who knows how to practice magic, or is it just your chief?
He says, "Oh, you're the guy who fought the chief. I didn't get a chance to watch the fight. I was busy, but I heard it was very cool. Sad I missed it. People who practice magic? No, not really. Orcs aren't really known for their magic. However, I mean, the chief is the only one I really know."
Do you know if your chief is open to visitations, or if I would be pressing my luck to go visit him again? Perhaps he is a busy man.
And he says, the chief, I mean, you can try. He doesn't have visitation hours. You just, if you want to talk to him, you can. I don't know how well it will go for you, but you can.
Okay. Realizing how. Okay. I thank him and I bid him adieu. Again, as I look around the village. I am now interested in what the village is and how it's it made. I go asking another elf what materials went into the building of the houses.
You go up to an elf, only to realize there aren't any elves in this orc village.
Sorry, I meant orcs.
Anyways, you go up to one of the orcs, and talk to them about their architecture. The orc looks at you and says, "You want to know about our architecture? Well, I suppose you are the new guy. We built things out of we built houses out of compact sandstone we put together, hide we harvest from beasts and their bones, and twine we get from the sparse plants around here."
In that case, do you know where okay, actually that makes sense. In that case, I'm gonna ask him whether okay, I'm gonna ask him where do they get sandstone from?
We just pack it together. The chief can use water magic.
Realizing that the chief is very good with magic, do I have to learn magic from someone, or can I try to learn it on myself?
You will not. I mean, you can learn it from yourself if you got a book.
Okay. In that case, I'm gonna go and test. Realizing the town's hospitality, I choose to embark to continue on my journey. This time, I grab the sword with me in order to have a weapon in case I'm facing anything. And I start heading south towards Kyrian.
You decide that with the hospitality given Baldurity by the orcs, you're going to head out without talking to the chief because you're a dick. You make your way on your journey, and some of the orc ask if you're leaving already. You try to tell them you didn't want to stay too long and impede on them. They seem disappointed that you're leaving because they appear like strong people. Regardless, you don't want to intrude too much, so you make your leave. As you exit the you exit the village, and with your newly acquired map, you begin to head off once again. This time to Sal Kyrith. With the map, you feel much more confident that you'll be able to make your way, using the mountains as a reference. You continue to walk. You continue to walk. Occasionally, you run across some beasts, but at this point, you've well learned how to fight them, and they don't really pose any threats to you. You walk for a long time. Maybe you walk for most of the day. So you woke up maybe around a little after sunrise, closer to noon, and by the time the sun starts to set, you feel confident that you're maybe halfway to the end of you're halfway to the plateau of the sun. You can either continue to walk through the nights, or take a nap, or go find a place to sleep.
Realizing that my senses are a bit inhibited, I'm going to try to find a place where I can seek refuge for the night and at least rest.
You look around, You look around and look for a place to hide. You find a place where the sand is more compact. You find a little alcove, and which is it's uncomfortable, but it'll protect you from most of what comes in the night. You kind of crunch up into it using your wings to hide most of your body from the outside, and fall asleep. However, into the night you are woken up by a sound. It's the sound of something moving in the sand. You can either choose to ignore it or get up and see what it is.
I want to remain vigil, but I don't want to alert it to my position. So I will try to stand still and just listen for its sound, whether it becomes stronger or just remains or fades.
You lay down in the cove and kind of listening intently for any sounds. You hear this creature moving along, running across the sand, kind of into it. It seems to be just kind of moving in your position. It doesn't seem to be approaching or moving away from you, just kind of hovering around your area. It hasn't noticed you yet.
I choose to try to take a peek and perhaps try to diagnose what it could be.
You attempt to look up from the burrow and catch a glimpse of this creature. It's a very large. It appears to be a very large snake, but not nearly as large as the lackery you fought earlier. It has many fin-like protrusions along its face and upper body, and has a yellowish-orange skin with black dots. It fits the description of the cobra lele the orcs told you about. You remember that they told you that the creature is very territorial and will fight anything that enters its territory. However, they also told you that unlike the lackery, its bite isn't venomous and would just hurt a lot.
In that case, I'm gonna. In that case, I'm just gonna wait until it becomes daytime, or I think it has become aware of my position. Just staying awake, but laying down.
You kind of just lay down and attempting to just make sure the beast doesn't alert you, but eventually you fall asleep again from the drowsiness and wake up in the morning. You look up around, realizing that you've fallen asleep, and the beast is gone.
I choose to start walking outside, aware that there is a possibility it is around, so I try to remain vigil. Mad at myself for falling asleep in such a dangerous place, realizing that it has been a while. It has been a day, and obviously I was going to get tired. I continue my trek. Hopefully I can try to make it out of the desert before.
You continued your journey, but only after a few seconds from rocking through the desert, you hear the sound of a snake charging at you. You look to your left, and it's the cobra lele. Although, however, unsurprised, you expected it to be here. You are ready, prepared to take it on.
I use telekinesis to launch my sword into it.
You activate telekinesis and use your sword to pierce. You didn't think it would do much when compared to the lackery. However, this snake, compared to the lackery, you think that this snake is much more of a cakewalk. The sword, you stab the sword into its head, pierce its brain, and it dies.
I then I chop off one of its fangs, and try to sharpen a makeshift knife from it.
You try to sharpen the fangs, but the fang quickly breaks. It's not strong enough to hold such a form.
I then continue on my journey.
With the cobra lele dead, you continue on your journey. Time passes and you face a few more other creatures, Kinshin beasts, cobra leles, even a lackery. However, generally speaking, you're either able to get away or fight it. Especially with your newfound skill, increased flight, you are more easily able to avoid such creatures. Time passes, and as the sun starts to set, you finally see the two great orangish sandy peaks marking the exit to the Kinshin Desert.
What a relief! Finally, I found the mountains. I choose to just walk between them, no funny business, and just try to keep passing, realizing that the view probably wouldn't give me too much of a sight anyway, as Salkaira is still a long way.
Yeah. You walk through the mountains as the sun begins to kiss the horizon and finally reach grass. You are so glad to finally get away from all the sand that you actually run your hand across the grass just to feel it. You look ahead of you, and in the far distance, you notice the plateau of the sun. The sun, as you start to walk towards the plateau, the sun begins to set, and you can either continue to move or find a place to sleep.
Realizing that I'm now no longer in the desert, and it seems to be a more open plain, I try to find some place to sleep as I'm no longer under threat of being like discovered in like a cave or something.
After you enter the plateau, and for the first time ever, you see trees. You look for a place to sleep, and nearby a tree, you find a small cove to kind of nestle into just below the tree. It's like almost like a burrow. It looks abandoned, so you decide to just take it for the time and nestle yourself into it. As the sun begins to set, you sleep, hopefully the next day, hoping that you'll eventually be able to reach a city. You're awoken by the middle of the night by the sound of whimpering. You open your eyes to see a dog. You remember the orcs telling you about elf dogs, incredibly common creatures that live all across the continent of elves. It is staring at you with its ears kind of drooped. This one is more yellow in color, and yellowish orange in color, which tells you that they are probably they probably are probably born from earth magic. It seems kind of sad and angry at you, so you quickly realize that this is its den, and you kind of just took it.
I quickly try to fix the mistake by using my wings to quickly gust myself away from the den and leave it open for the dog instead.
Yeah. You get out of the den and realize that there were other dogs as well, maybe around 4 of them, each of them managing to fit themselves into this den and quickly falling asleep. Except for the one dog, who kind of looks at you for a bit, but eventually turns its head away and falls asleep into the den. You look at the moon, and it's starting to set to maybe around 3 a.m. You think. You're groggy and a bit tired, but you don't really have any place to sleep unless you just want to sleep underneath a tree.
I seek Salkirith as the only step forward. I need to discover more about this world and my purpose in it. Especially as I'm still morally confused by my meeting with the god, and I need to start getting answers quickly.
Deciding that even though you're tired, Salkirith is your best place for answers, you decide to head towards the city. As you walk, you start to hear noises coming from behind you. You're not sure what it is, but it's a rustling sound. You don't think it's that big. You couldn't imagine it any larger than like a small animal. However, it's continuously following you just out of sight. You either try to attempt to face what it is or just keep walking.
I just keep walking in the hope that it won't get too close to me.
You keep walking, and the thing, whatever it is, continues to approach you using the bushes and the trees to hide itself. You know it's eventually going to reach you unless you start running or flying. Strangely enough, you don't feel threatened by it.
I choose to try to look at what it is and maybe step closer towards it.
You realizing that this thing is probably going to reach you anyways, you turn around to look what it is, and you realize that it's the same dog. One of the dogs from the pack has decided to follow you. You're not quite sure why, but it's kind of just staring at you. And you tried continue walking, and realizing it's been caught no longer makes an attempt to hide, and kind of just keeps following you.
Realizing that since nothing else in this I can't find anything else around me, I just let the dog walk next to me, and eventually I go in to pet it.
The dog kind of looks at you. It just kind of keeps following you, and you start to pet the dog. The dog seems to like being pet and just like starts wagging its tail at you and kind of just stares at you. Eventually, as you're walking, the dog seems to start getting a bit tired. It looks at you, trying to get your attention.
I guess I look back at it.
You look at the dog, and the dog, the dog, the dog looks at you and starts like trying to like drag you somewhere, not like physically, but like pointing in a direction.
I I start following wherever the dog's going, like
Yeah.
for a few steps.
You follow the thing for a few. You follow the creature, the dog, for a few steps, and and it leads you to a large. It leads you, sorry, you follow the dog for a bit. I should probably cancel this music. This desert music. You follow the dog, and give me 1 second. Oh yeah, you follow the dog, and eventually he leads you to a bush that wasn't far off. He nudges at the bush and kind of points at some fruit.
I guess like realizing that the dogs I guess like asked me to grab some fruit. I go and start to pick some.
Yeah, you pick some fruit, and it's orange, roundish in color and shape, and you kind of just like use your hands, just basically just peel open the fruit by itself, and kind of just give it to the dog. The dog begins eating the fruit.
Seeing this as like nourishment, I guess like I look for more in order to like pack some for the upcoming journey.
Yeah, you grab a bunch of the fruits off the bush and kind of just like put it and kind of just like hold on to it almost.
Got like 6 cherries in my hand.
Yeah, essentially. With the fruit kind of just like holding on to the fruit in your hands, you continue to walk. As you walk, the sun begins to rise, and every once in a while, the dog asks for another fruit. You continue down. You continue along the plateau, and until you come upon the crossroads. You look at the map and see the crossroad on the map. You know, the one to the left going to the Great Fairy Forest, which is now in view, and the right going to Salkirith. You realize that this means you may be halfway there, which makes you feel good, and you continue along the path to the Salkirith. Along the way, you do notice some rabbits that kind of are rabbit-like creatures that are almost bouncing around that the dog seems to enjoy barking at. Until eventually, as you're walking, eventually you hear a very large sound. It sounds like a very large stomp. This very large stomp, and you look around suddenly, wondering what the hell that could possibly be. Eventually, the dog alerts you to the sound, which is to the right of you, and you see this very, very tall creature, maybe 5 times as tall as you. It has 4 incredibly long legs that seem to stretch higher than trees, that seem to be thin and yet very strong. The legs are covered. Their legs are covered in white fur with small yellow dots. And you look all the way up, almost having to look directly up into the sky to see this thing. And its body seems to be flat and disc shaped. You don't see. You manage to make out eyes, but no mouths. And at first you're scared, but quickly you notice that this creature doesn't seem to care about you at all, and it kind of continues walking. Each step it makes making a loud thump, likely due to the sheer weight of this thing.
I write that down first of all. Tree monster looking thing, but uh, I take note of that, and I choose to not engage it.
Yeah. You continue to walk. You continue to walk after encountering that strange thing, and continue on your journey. As you move along, you also encounter a pack of these other creatures. They have 4 legs and seem to be roaming and eating off the plants and grass on the ground. Their front legs seem to be much larger and taller than their hind legs, and they seem to actually have physical fingers, including thumbs, on their front arms that you can see them using to pick fruits from trees, as well as pull out roots from the ground. Most of them seem to have a dark brown hide covering their body, with their back actually covered in plant and moss. You look at them and they kind of remind you of like gorillas almost.
Um. How many are there?
We'll say 6.
Let's say 6. Are they anywhere near as large as me?
Yeah, they're definitely as large as you.
Okay.
Imagine a gorilla.
Okay. In that case, not aware whether they're capable of sentience or not, uh, I choose to grab the dog that has been accompanying me in order to try to reduce their sound, and slowly try to move away from them.
You kind of just continue on the path, keeping an eye on the creatures. They seem to notice you and stare at you for a bit, but other than that, they continue just munching down on the plants that they're eating, paying no attention to you. Slowly, as you walk further away from them, feeling safe, you put the dog back down and continue walking. Every once in a while, you feed the dog some fruit, but other than that, it's clear that the Plateau of the Sun is much more peaceful than the Kinshin Desert. That much is very clear to you. Yet you can't help but be on edge after experiencing monster after monster from the desert.
Confused by I don't know. My character is still kind of confused by why the dog is following me, but he's not really against that fact. Kind of confused whether I'm just a deal for food or whether he just enjoys the company of another being.
Mm-hmm. You continue to walk, and as the sun starts to set again, you finally see Salkirith coming over the horizon. Its large quartz and gold purple colored buildings appearing before you.
Remembering that elves are more amiable to interaction, I choose to just keep on approaching the city and try to at least make it there before I need to rest.
Yeah. Sun begins to set, and as it kisses the horizon, you slowly but surely approach the gates of Salkirith. There's a lot of bustling happening in the front gate. Lots of merchants coming. As Salkirith starts to approach, you see merchants and caravans, horse-drawn caravans, walking across. You make a quick note of the horses, and that they look very weird. They appear to have 3 pairs of legs and no eyes. That was the first thing you noticed. They seem to have a purple and black hide and gold-coated hooves, although it looks, with a quick glance, makes me they're not actually gold, just gold-colored. They have a long gold mane as well and a long tail. And however, despite no eyes, they seem to be able to see very, very well. You make a quick note of the horses and continue walking. Some of the elves notice you, but don't really pay you any mind. As you approach the city, you see a guard checking in people in the city, both checking merchants, inspecting goods, checking people in, checking people out, and yeah.
I approach the guard.
Yeah.
And try to strike up a conversation.
You get in line to getting admitted into the city, and you walk up to the guard. He says, "State your name and business." It's clear by the monotoneness of his voice that that he's done this many times before. And
I am Kylian, and I'm here to find out more about the city of Salkirith.
he stares at you for a second, stares at the wings, looks down at the dog, and says, anything, are you carrying anything on yourself currently?
I do have a sword onto me.
He said, yeah, it's fine. He said, is that dog domesticated?
No, but he has not been violent as far as I have seen.
He looks at you and says, fine, just make sure it doesn't make sure it doesn't cause any trouble. He says, you got an adventurer's card? Adventurer? He said, do you have any kind of guild card? Adventurers, mages, thieves, etc.
I do not at the moment. Where could I get one?
He looks at you and says, there are many guilds in the city: the Adventurers Guild, the Mages Guild, the Thieves Guild, to name a few. Registering with any of them will get you a guild card and establish you with that guild that you can then use to identify yourself in other cities. Do note that the guild cards won't work outside of Althvinhaim.
Okay.
He writes that. So he says, since you don't have a guild card, I'll write your information down here, and he hands you what looks to be like a blank card that he filled out. He says, hold on to this for now, so if guards ever need to ID you, they can, but make sure to get registered with a guild as soon as possible. It'll definitely help you.
I ask him how many fallen angels he's seen.
He kind of stares at you weirdly. He's like, why does that matter?
I've had weird reactions when interacting with other people they've never seen a fallen angel before.
He says, well, I don't know where you come from, but Althvinhaim is the continent of magical creatures. We see just as many demons as we do fae, as we do elves, as we do dragons. Regardless, as long as you're not here to cause chaos, we don't really care.
All right, good sir. I guess I shall go in now.
Yeah, you enter the city feeling kind of dumb for asking that. And you immediately enter the bustling city. The first thing you notice immediately is how uncannily beautiful Salkyrith is. Each of the buildings is masterfully constructed, made out of what appears to be quartz, with pillars, almost Roman-esque architecture that you recognize. Almost Roman-esque architecture. The roofs are not gold, but some sort of yellow material, with purple lining the buildings as an accent. The roads are incredibly well paved. As you walk on them, there's no bumps. It's almost weirdly flat and very well done. You enter the city, and start to just kind of look around after appreciating the architecture. Just looking around, the main things you notice are just a whole bunch of different people. You were expecting a city of elves, but to be honest, only every other person you see is an elf. You see elves, dragonoids, like you said, some even demons that you recognize from the horns, humans, dwarves, fae. Just about every fantasy race you can think of you see walking along these streets, interacting with each other. You recall that the guard said to visit the Adventurers Guilds and to head on. And he said if you head down the main road, past the first two intersections, then head left and then right, you'll find it.
I guess I just approached the Adventurers Guild. Might as well get registered ID.
You walk down the Adventurers Guild. You walk towards the Adventurers Guild when suddenly you hear a kid. You hear a sound of a young kid. A young sun elf girl appears to run up to you and says, "Wow! Your wings are so big, mister."
I awkwardly say, "Oh, thank you."
He said, "Are you an angel?"
A fallen angel.
Her eyes seem to light up. Just, wow, that's so cool. I've never seen one before. Your wings are so pretty.
Again, like, just Gracias. Thank you.
Yeah, she kind of smiles at you and continues to run off and playing with the other elf children.
Realizing that this place seems to seems to be like much more open to different creatures than just like orcs, as like the village was accompanied. It seems to be a metropolitan like hub of the area. I'll note that down.
You continue to walk across the street. Occasionally, some people calling out to you to buy stuff. Occasionally, some people taking glances at you, but none of them seem to be any malicious, just out of curiosity. You walk down the street, and since you arrived here, you actually start to feel calm. You relax a bit, relax your shoulders, kind of stretch a bit, and really just take in the scenery for a second. You can't really help but tell yourself that Salkyrith really is beautiful. And not just the architecture and the physicality of it, and the neatness of the architecture and the advancement of their civilization, but also just the people. The world, this place, makes you feel happy. And you have no idea why, but even the sun that shines on your skin feels nicer here. Regardless, you continue to walk down the crossroads, eventually reaching the Adventurers Guild.
I go and talk to anyone I can find in there.
Okay, you enter the Adventurers Guild, and it's very, very casual. It's very casual. There are even more people than you. There's even more of a variety of people than you recognize. There's large giants, humans, elves, even like elves, different kinds recognize. At this point you've seen enough sun elves to kind of recognize what they're supposed to look like. You kind of see you kind of notice like they're more whitish skin. They're very white clothing, white and gold clothing. But you also notice some other elves. A more brownish skin elf who almost seems to have like a druidic outfit you think might be a wood elf, among other things. You also notice many demons of many shapes and sizes, as well as the occasional human and dwarf. Along with that, you also notice some beast folk, most importantly. Some seem to have bear ears, some have antlers, others have long rabbit ears. Even that, you even notice some lizard folk as well. The guild is packed, and there are so many people talking. It's hard. You put that to the side for now and notice and head towards the counter. Hello, how can I help you today? The receptionist at the front of the Adventurers Guild asks.
I talked to the guard at the building, and I would like to register with the guild.
She's like, oh, are you new to Althvinhaim?
That is indeed true. I've not been here for long, and thought this would be a good way of getting started in the city.
Interesting. May I ask where you're from, stranger?
I currently come from the Kinshin Desert.
She kind of stares at you blankly, like, pardon? I'm sorry if it's your dad. You're a demon, are you not, sir?
It seems so, but I do not remember where and I come from. I have heard the same claim that I should come from that realm, but the Kinshin Desert is the first place, or I guess like the latest place I remember me being.
Insomnia? Not insomnia, sorry. Do you have amnesia?
Perhaps, but I'm not aware of such a thing. I don't think my history goes that far back.
No. Oh well. I'm sure. I hope you'll find out where you came from sooner.
Do you know if Salkyrith has any supposed like libraries or anything that I could use to learn more about this world?
Oh, absolutely. We have next to the However, it's not here though. You'll have to, you'll have to go to the capital city, Sol Imperia.
Sol Imperia. Okay.
This is the city of Asobia. She hands you a map of Salkyrith. She says, on the Plateau of the Sun, you'll notice here, we're on the west side of Salkyrith, on the city of Asobia. Northwest, you'll find the city of Sylvania, and on the eastern side, you'll find the city of Ravania. However, she points to the center of the map. Right here is the main city of is the main city of Sol Imperia, controlled by our leader, the High Priest of the Sun.
So, if I were to meet the Priest of the Sun, what is the Priest of the Sun?
She says, I'm glad to answer your questions, but first, I do think we should probably get you registered.
Alright, then let's go with that.
Okay, she looks at you and says, alright, I'm just gonna take your details down. I'm gonna need your name, full name, if you have a last name.
I have not decided on a last name, but my first name is Kylian.
Okay, could you spell that for me?
Kylian.
Alright, great. Age?
Age? I have been, just says 1. just says 0. I've not been on this world long enough. I believe... Wait, okay. Okay. Look, I know my character's age, but like, do I know?
Yes.
Is it like 23 or something like that?
Yeah. Whoa. You say 23. Oh, you're a young one, aren't you?
Apparently.
She's like, yeah, young and already wanted to travel. I wish I was like that.
When did you go out to travel?
When I was like 150.
Are they a sun elf?
Yes.
How long do sun elves live, out of curiosity?
Oh, all elves live for around 500 years. If I had to do a conversion to human years, which is the most commonly used, I'd say a sun elf year is about. I'd say an elf year is about 5 human years.
Okay. Realizing that, I asked, is there any other information I must give?
Yeah, he said, okay, and sex?
Male.
Said, okay, magical affinities, if any?
Currently I know of none.
You know your magic affinities, you just don't know any
Oh.
spells.
Okay, then, light and raw earth.
Okay, and, yeah, that should be about it. One last thing, we just need to write down your current skills. She, pulls out a big stone tablet from the ground, and, sorry, not from the ground, from underneath the desk, and, kind of puts it, and puts it on the ground. Sorry, no, puts it on the table. She said there's a handprint sign in the center, as well as a magic circle inscribed on the stone tablet. She asked you to put your hand on the. Actually, I'll just say, can you please put your hand on the this tablet, please, and don't move it.
I comply.
You put your hand on the tablet, and after a second, it glows brightly. She exclaims in surprise, "Wow, 3 unique skills? Really impressive. That's crazy. And especially you're so young too. You're not even an archdemon. Wow." The commotion of the woman saying that you have 3 unique skills sparks the attention of many people in the guild. They all kind of stare at you with wonder and curiosity, realizing that you have now become the center of attention in the guild.
I guess I just try to ignore them as I continue with the process.
She said, "If you don't mind me asking, how'd you get so many unique skills?"
I don't. I asked. Is it difficult for people to obtain skills?
Of course it is. I mean, everyone's born with 1 or 2 basic skills. Maybe one in every 50 is born. 50 to 100 is born with an advanced skill. But only 1 in every maybe million are born with a unique skill. Like, that just doesn't happen. But moreover, it's not people with lots of basic and advanced skills isn't that hard because anyone can have those. Like, unique skills are unique to one singular person, and until that person dies, that skill can't be acquired again. So to be able to acquire such a powerful skill, and 3 of them at such a young age too, only 23, is crazy. It's never usually heard of. The people with lots of unique skills tend to be like incredibly powerful, seasoned adventurers, or really powerful people like the High Priest of the Sun, for example.
I asked, what is the position of Priest of the Sun? What does he do exactly?
With the commotion slowly calming down, and she says, oh yeah, I can tell you about that, but before she hands you your Adventurer's Guild card. She tells you, here's your card, make sure not to lose it. Using this, you can register yourself in any Adventurer's Guild across Althvinhaim, and also it'll allow you ID entry into any city. She hands you the card.
I take it and I thank them.
And she says, anyways, so, regarding our leader, the High Priest of the Sun, I'll have to ask first, do you know what the Sun Faith is?
I have not heard of such thing.
Okay, well, so the Sun Faith worships the great and venerable god of light, Mendius. He is although there are many gods in the world, we believe, members of the Sun Faith, including myself, believe that Mendius is the righteous and most pristine of all the gods, besides the 3 original creator gods. Yeah, you can by the way, you can interject at any point while she's explaining, just so you know.
What are the 3 gods?
You don't know who the 3 creator gods are? Really?
No, I'm not really well with it.
May I ask, how much do you know about the gods, if I may ask?
I only know a little bit. I have not had much experience with such beings.
She tells you that, well, I should probably explain to you what most people consider common sense then. So, in the very beginning of the world, there was one supreme god, Amnile. Amnile existed before the world did, and he sacrificed his power, body, and life to create the world create Althvinhaim. That's the world we live in. She said Amnile used the last of his powers to create the 3 original and most powerful gods: the mythical goddess and goddess of magic, Seraphiel, the god of prosperity and the human god, Daedalus, and the monster god and god of strength, Castiel. These 3 gods are the most powerful gods in the world and are responsible for the creation of all races. Us elves were created by Seraphiel. All us elves were actually created by Daedalus during the mythical age. She explained. And then she says, and then eventually more gods would come into existence and slowly populate the heavens. There are many different gods of elements, gods of concepts. I don't have them all memorized. Regardless, the god of light, Mendius, would be the one who worked with Daedalus to create the Sun Elves. Mendius worked with Daedalus to create the Sun Elves in his image, and thus we were created, which is why we revere him so much. After all, they are both our creators. But regardless, the Sun Faith is on a surface level about worshipping Mendius and his ideals. We believe in his word and his truth, and the High Priest of the Sun is essentially his ambassador. They are the only one who is allowed to speak to Mendius, right? Mendius, and they transcribe his words to us as many different things: ways to live, advice, how to continue on for the next year, etc., etc. It's actually the Sun Faith is actually one of the oldest faiths in the world, and we have many practices. However, we're actually also the largest faith in the world. Many people assume that's likely because we're very open. Anyone's allowed to worship our faith and believe in Mendius as long as they show proper faith. show proper faith. Which is why you'll notice many people around the city who, although aren't Sun Elves, will be donning our clothing style as a respect to the Sun Faith and to Mendias, because he was the one who actually, gave us who we are. Our holy text. If you're interested, actually, you can probably buy some or even get one for free. The Archimedion. Soul Edition, specifically. There are two versions of the Archimedion. There's a Soul Edition and the Lunar Edition. The Lunar Edition of the Archimedion is for the Moon Faith and represents them, as the Moon Faith is the faith of, is a much more reclusive faith of the Moon Elves, and worships the god of Dark Zolil. Regardless, I'm getting off track. The Archimedion Soul Edition essentially tells the story of the Sun Elves and their journey from Althvinhaim to Elvania, which I can also explain. Basically, the human continent Althvinhaim, which is east of Elvania, used to be an absolute battleground for the ancient beast known as Leviathans. However, Daedalus came along, and while the Leviathans ruled the continent, Daedalus created the elves and put them in Althvinhaim. However, because of the rampaging Leviathans, the elves weren't able to sustain life in Althvinhaim. So our great and powerful king, the High Elf King Elven Celeste, helped the elves embark on a journey, and eventually we made it to Elvania. And we eventually all settled down here. And the High Elf King Elven Celeste, is the ultimate king of the elves. He rules over all of us from Asylvius, and is as old as and is thousands of years old. Thanks to his abilities, which make him immortal. He's actually one of the supreme entities and one of the more powerful ones, which is why the elves are considered such a strong race. Regardless, ever since then, the Sun Elves established with the help of Mendias, established the city, the kingdom of Salkyrith, that would slowly expand to this day. And even in fact, actually, Elven Celeste is so popular that even the Archimedion praises him as an elven hero, even though he's not known to be particularly religious. The main point of the Archimedion is to tell the scriptures and stories that were written by the first High Priest of the Sun when they first talked with Mendias, and they tell us our basic etiquette of how to act. They're not too specific, pretty broad things like respect others' choices, be kind, be nice, be grateful, share what you have, the kind of stuff you'd expect. But they have helped guide us, but they're more guiding tools to help us understand how to move and develop society. Our holy day, of course, is Kylian. Kylian, which is why, unlike other elven kingdoms, our week begins on Evictium instead of although the week starts on Evictium, our weekends are actually Bolonium and Kylian, and our work week tends to start in Fantium. And that's.
I'll have to research that calendar later.
Yeah, you eventually, and if you go to the three cities of Salkyrith kind of represent the Sun Faith, but if you really want to really take in the true grandeur, architecture, and history of the Sun Faith, I would absolutely recommend going to the capital, Sol Imperia, especially the Pantheon of the Sun, a massive, grandiose complex that houses all the priests and cardinals of Salkyrith and is the home of the High Priest of the Sun. It's also where festivals and big events are held, and it should be where the library you're looking for is located. It holds information all across Elven history, and is a symbol, and is only really outshined by the library in Asylvius. What was it called? Give me 1 second. I believe I remember. Yeah, the Bibliovania. The Bibliovania is one of, if not the largest library. However, due to Asylvius' restrictive access to anyone other than the High Elves, the library in the Pantheon of the Sun is definitely the best place to go for information. Regardless, today the Sun Faith is biggest faith in the world, and the current High Priest of the Sun, our Lord, is Alexor Rista. Alexorista. Yeah. He's been a very popular high priest, known for his reforms, but more or less, the Sal Kyrith has been a prosperous state for a while now, in large part thanks to Mendius and the high priest, which is why I bet you if you ever go on journeys beyond Ilvania, go to Dalhaven or Castriel or wherever your journeys take you, even to the demon realm, I guarantee you'll find people worshiping Mendius. No matter where you go, it may not be as concentrated naturally because this is the city of the Sun Faith, but yes, that's basically the gist of it. If you want to know more about the High Priest's exact position and what they do, and how, for example, cardinals are elected, I'd recommend going directly to Sol Imperia to learn more directly from them. Other than that, there is one thing, and that is the Inquisitors. There are 5 divisions of Inquisitors led by the 5 cardinals, and they are essentially known to defend the faith and stamp out cults and other anti-religious criminals. That's their main goal, though rumors have been spread that they are also known for spying on other nations. Generally speaking, I personally at least tend to look up to the Inquisitors. They're very powerful, high-tier magic users, and can use multiple weapons. They are known for protecting our faith, and don't tend to act out irrationally, unlike other religious police that some certain other moon faith users use. Regardless, well, since you're here, actually, I will have to inform you, in about a month, actually, the famous Sunstar Festival will be coming up. It celebrates the birthday of Mendius on Dalier the 10th, which is just a little less than a month away from now. During that time, from Dalier 8th to the 10th is a holiday, and on the 8th and the 9th, the Sal Kyrith hosts massive parties and events all across the kingdom. Big streets filled with stalls with food and goods and toys to buy, games to play personally set up by the high priest. You get to spend time with family, meet new people, all that. And so much so that I've met people who have arrived at the Adventurers Guild, who scheduled a vacation just for the Sunstar Festival over 3 months in advance. It's foreigners all across the country, even demons from the demon realm will make the journey to Sal Kyrith just to see the festival. And every single year, it's always so much fun because there are so many people. This place is always packed. Many adventurers come out here and get to meet. It's a really, really fun and beautiful event, and I would recommend to anyone, especially if you plan on sticking in the kingdom for a while, to visit it. And at the end of the day, end of the festival, the high priest will use their unique skill to call down Mendius and ask for a blessing, which he gives the people. So, yeah, that's basically the Sun Faith. If you have any other questions, like I said, I'd recommend going directly to Sol Imperia and talking with the priests or the cardinals. And if you get lucky enough, maybe you'll even get to meet the high priest of the sun.
It almost sounds like mythology, the thing you speak of. It sounds incredible. I will have to go see the festival as soon as I can in a month.
Of course.
Perhaps I will thank you for the advice. I will take my adventures ID, and hopefully I will be able to find out my purpose enrolled in the library. Maybe learn more about it.
Elpis, meanwhile, in the VC, like, why'd I get stuck with the shitty Sawalonia while Jamal gets this fucking grandiose Greek mythology city? Elpis got Sawalonia, and Sawalonia is nice, but like, listening to the description of Sal Kyrith, and Elpis is just like, what the fuck is this?
As I leave the place, thinking highly of the nation, maybe wanting to buy the Archimedians so I can learn more about the story, and as it seems important to the nation, I reflect to myself, thinking, I barely knew my purpose in the college years when I was with Ryan and Eliza, right? And thinking to myself, I should make a purpose for myself in this world, as I mostly glided through the other one, and mostly just acted on emotions, and went as time went by with just random actions. But maybe when I finally get to the library and understand this world, maybe I can turn this negative thing into something I can use. this world doesn't seem all too bad, and maybe I misjudged it. Maybe there are
Don't
parts
say
of
it.
it.
Don't you fucking dare. Don't you dare like, oh,
What?
maybe this is one of the good parts of the world, guys. Maybe it's not so bad.
I will have to. It seems like Sarkareth is a good place to start as I try to understand more about this world as a knowledge hub. Although, hearing of Solvictus, it does sound like that might be the next stop of the journey. After I stay here for a while. Also thinking of what to name the cat.
The dog.
Or the dog. Sorry, the dog. Remembering my past, right? I choose to name it Eliza in like remembrance of the friends I had before like I got shot in the
Mhm.
store. Uh, as kind of like, you know, a token of this is my new friend in this world, given a name of a friend in another world
Mhm.
who no longer exists,
Yeah.
I guess,
You
in
you
my
look at the dog, kind of like give it its name, and the dog seems to bark at you happily, excited to get a name.
I've decided to basically just take the dog with me everywhere.
Yeah, more or
It's
less.
basically adopted, kidnapped now. uh, I I see my adventures ID, and I do see the city, but I do think again the only next step is the acquisition of knowledge. So I shall set off for Sol
Soul
uh
Imperia.
yeah, Sol Imperia, and seek out the pantheon of
The sun.
the sun and try to find the library there,
Right.
as it acts as a cultural capital, it seems. I think I'm gonna have to end it here.
Yeah, I was gonna say
'cause
that sounds like a good place to stop. 3 hours, respectable time. Dread still holds the longest, but
wasn't it 4 or 5 hours?
Dread was 3.5, I think.
3.5? Okay. Because I still hated that. My electricity went out mid time. It was just like I was like, you know what? I'm gonna. Because I felt bad because I was like, oh, you know what, Jed? I'm gonna listen to it. And then the entire electricity on my house just
Fucking skill issue.
blinks out.
Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and stop the